Hi guys, Steve Leonard here with Washougal Taxidermy. I'm here to share with you some tips I hope that'll help you out while skinning out bears, especially black bears I deal with a lot of, and for rugs and for doing life-size mounts. This is more particular geared towards doing rugs because when you do skin out a bear, or when I do a bear rug, I have to stretch the hide out and make it even so when it's on the wall, it's even and it looks nice. So if you skin it crooked or not more centered or off center when you do go to do the skin out in the field, it's harder for me to make an even hide when I do the mount, and I have to sometimes cut hides in different spots and attach the hide to a different spot. It's a lot more work, it's a lot more sewing, a lot more detail work we have to cover up to make it look good. So hopefully these tips here I'm going to show you will help you out in the field to do the right incisions and the right cuts on a black bear. I have a nice black bear that just came in, so I thought it'd be a great time to do this video for you guys. What I have here is a really nice black bear. It's a very large bear, very nice big head on it. As you can tell here, the ears are off to the side. Taken here a month or so ago, hasn't been in the freezer. But anyways, on this particular bear, what happens in bears is their hide, their legs have their hind legs have a twist to them. So a lot of guys will start skinning from the incision area or from the growing area, and they work their way down the hind leg and they end up down at the paw. Well, a lot of times they end up on the top of the paw instead of on the back of the paw because they started at the growing area when they made the incision. They didn't compensate for the twist in the leg. Instead of coming on the back side of the leg, coming down to the knee, and then coming down the center of the back of the leg to the back of the paw. They end up on the side. This particular one's a prime example because they made a couple different cuts here. They have a cut here. I have this long skinny piece. The cut comes over to here. So I have to stitch this back up and then use this back incision for my cut for doing the rug. So I got to cut this, and I have to recut it, but I got to stitch this back up to make it look nice. So that's just more work we have to do to make it look good out here in the taxidermy shop. The front paws, their legs lay out flat. So there's no twist in them. It's pretty much a straight shot from the paw. You want to start in the center of it, work your way in the inside of the leg across the chest to the other leg on the other side, and make that incision. I like to do all my incisions from the center of the head here. This is the lower section here. So I would make my incision from the center below the jaw, from the chin. That's about as close as you want to get, about a foot or so, 12 inches. And then make that straight incision all the way down the center of the gut area, the stomach area, to the hindquarters in the growing area. And then make your hind leg cuts all the way up, and then make your front leg cuts, whichever order you want to do them in, but make all your incisions and your cuts before you do any skinning. This way, if you're on a hillside and it starts rolling around or you're not sure where your cuts are at, you've already made your nice clean cuts. You don't have to worry about it, so you're not hacking it or cutting it in the wrong spot. When you do go to skin it, put your knife in, have the blade angled up, your edge up, so you're cutting from the bottom side of the hide as you make your incisions. You're not cutting from the top side, so you're not cutting any hair. A lot of guys will cut from the top side, and you're just cutting these hairs off, and then you're cutting these short, and you'll see where those cuts were made. You don't want to do that. So always just make your incision from the bottom. Take your fingers. You can run that knife blade between your fingers and hold your fingers down deeper to keep it away from the meat. If you get in the stomach area, you can hold your fingers down deeper to keep the guts away from the tip of your knife as you make that incision, but it works very well. So I'm hoping these tips will help you out while you're in the field. When you go to, if you're out of state, you guys are doing out of state hunts and stuff, I like to shave off as much meat and fat. Don't salt the hide right away. You always want to get the meat and fat. This hide here is a prime example. I know it looks a little bit dirty, but they get dirty in the field, but there's a lot of meat, a lot of fat that needs to be fleshed off of here. If you throw salt on this right away, all this is just going to shrivel up to the hide, and it's going to make it really, really hard to get it off. And then for the taxidermist, there's going to be holes cut in this hide because it's shriveled up on the hide. You always want to lay this out on a log or a tailgate of a truck or a bench, picnic table, whatever you can find, and take your buck knife and shave all this meat and fat off till you get down to the skin. We already worked on this a little bit, but you can get down to the skin part, what's thin, and then at that point you can salt it if you wanted to. But don't ever put salt on it until then, because you're just making it that much harder. Just keep it dry, keep it in a cool spot. And once it gets cooled out, you can put it in a black bag, put it in a cooler with some ice on it. Whatever you may do, keep the flies off it so the flies don't get in the navel area, in the mouths and stuff, and start laying eggs. It's a big problem. Just keep it in a cool place, keep it dry, get it to a taxidermist, or put it in the freezer, whatever you need to do. So I'm hoping these tips will help you out in the field to make your trophy look really nice when it's on the wall, and it also makes the taxidermist happy. So good hunting to y'all. I'm Steve Leonard with Washougal Taxidermy.